All right. 5 more seconds for this question. If you have not marked your answer, please mark them on the poll over here. 5 more seconds. All right. Three, two, and 1. Let me end the poll over here and broadcast the results. I see 77% of you have marked choice B as the answer. Another around 15% of you tell me that the answer can be either A, C, or D. Let's see. It's a very easy question. The question asks me, what is the range of values of y if 4y plus 10 is greater than minus y? So it's a question based out of simple inequalities. Now, in inequalities, we have a very basic concept that to solve or essentially make the question look a bit easy, bring all the terms, like looking terms, on one side of the equation. So what we do is we move the minus y over here, which is on the right hand side of this inequality, to the left hand side, and then bring the 10, which is in the left hand side right now, to the right hand side. So when I bring the minus y to the left hand side of this inequality, the minus sign changes to a positive sign. So what do I have? I have 5y plus 10 to be greater than 0. Now, as I told you, we also have to bring the 10, which is the constant term over here, to the right hand side. Now, once I do that, I get 5y is greater than minus 10. Dividing both the sides of this inequality by 5, I get the value of y, and y would be greater than minus 2. Hence, I mark choice B as the answer. Now, very, very easy question. It just requires basic knowledge of inequalities, that we need to move the like terms on one side, the other terms to the other side of the inequality. Answer for this question is choice B, which 77% of you got correct. All right, let's move ahead with question number 2. You know the drill. I'll bring the poll over here. Just a moment, please. Yes, I brought the poll over here. Can you please mark a still solving? Let's get 70 people mark a still solving. And guys, the faster you mark still solvings, the faster I give you the next set of questions. So please ensure you do it very quickly. All right, I have 72 people. That's great. So I'm going to stop broadcasting results. Let's go to question number 2 over here. All right, 10 more seconds for this question. Please mark your answer if you have not marked them. Three, two, and one. Let me end the poll over here and broadcast the results. 70% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice B. Around 15% of you tell me that it can be A, C, or D. Now let's read the question again. What is the range of values of y? So we need to find out the range of values for y if x minus y is greater than minus 3 and minus 2x plus 3y is greater than 4. So we have been given two inequalities with two variables. We have to find out the range of one variable, right? Which is y. Now I'm gonna open the short answer poll and I want you people to tell me, how do I find out the value of y if I have x and y both in one inequality? How do I do that? Can you people tell me, how do I get to the value of y only when I have both x and y in my inequalities? Eliminate x. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. That was the answer I was looking for. So thank you for your answers. I'm going to end the poll over here and let's discuss the answer for this question. So I have to eliminate x, right? Now, in the first inequality, I have x. In the second inequality, I have minus 2x. Now, to essentially eliminate x, what I need to do is, since I have minus 2x in one inequality and only x in the other, I'll multiply the first inequality with 2. When I do that, I get the value of this first inequality as 2x minus 2y is greater than minus 6, right? The second inequality stands as it is, which is minus 2x plus 3y is greater than 4. Then what do? I simply add these two inequalities. And when I add these two inequalities, I can cancel off the 2x over here with the minus 2x, right? When I add 2x with minus 2x, the result is equal to 0. So when I do that, what do I get? I get minus 2y plus 3y, which is essentially y. And in the right hand side of this inequality, I have minus 6 plus 4, which is minus 2. So in all, I get the value of y, and y comes out to be greater than minus 2. So that's the answer for this question, where choice B is the answer for this question. Now, two very, very important things to learn from this question. First is that you people told me that if I have two variables in the question and I need to find out the range of one variable, I have to eliminate the other variable, right? This is the first thing to learn over here. The second thing is, and a very important thing over here, is inequalities with the same sign can be added together, right? So please keep this information with yourself. If you have two inequalities, let's say with the greater than sign, both of them can be added together. If we have two inequalities with the less than sign, again, both of them can be added together. But if I have two inequalities in which one is a greater than, in the other question I have a less than sign, then I cannot add the two equations or the two inequalities. A very, very important thing to solve this question. So Arsh has a question, how are we taking 2x and 2y? Again, we needed to eliminate x, right? I have a minus 2x over here. So how do I eliminate x? How do I eliminate minus 2x? When I have a positive 2x, because when I add those two numbers, I'll eliminate x. Minus 2x plus 2x is equal to 0. So that's the reason I multiply this x over here with 2, or essentially multiply this entire inequality with 2. I hope, Arsh, that solves your question. Uh, right, with that, let's move ahead with question number 3. You guys know the drill. Please mark a still solving and then let me give you the third question. I have 56 people. Let's get 14 more. 71. Perfect. Let me close broadcasting results. Question number 3 here on your screen. All right, guys, last 5 seconds to mark your answers. If you have not marked it, please mark them on the poll over here. 3, 2, and 1. All right, let me end the poll over here and broadcast the results. So what I can see is 40% of you have marked choice C as the answer. 16% if you have marked choice A, 19% if you have marked choice B, another 13% have marked choice D as the answer. All right, now before I move ahead in the question, let's read this question and understand what is that I want to find out through this question. How many non-negative integral values of m do the two given inequalities satisfy? So I first have to calculate the range of m. The moment I calculate the range of m or get the range of m, post that I need to find out how many non-negative integral values can I have for m. That's what I have for this question. Somewhat similar to the previous question, but now with another essentially a constraint given in this question, and this constraint over here is very important. Why? We'll come to this at just after 30 or 1 minute over here. Now, I have two inequalities, minus 4m minus n plus 5 is greater than 0, and the second inequality is n plus 5 is greater than 0. I need to find out the value of m, the range of m. I'm opening the short answer poll. Tell me, what should be the thought process that's going in my head? What do I need to eliminate to go to the value of m, to reach to the value of m? What do I need to do? I have to eliminate n, right? I'll not substitute again. I'll not substitute. I have to eliminate n. That's my target. If you substitute values, it might be a problematic situation for you, or you might unnecessarily, make the question a bit more complex. We don't want that to happen, and that is the reason we'll not substitute at any point in time. Thank you for your answers. What I'll do is I'll end the poll over here and clear all the answers. Now, so what I'll do is I see that I have a minus n in this inequality, in the first inequality, but a positive n in the second inequality. I also see that both the inequalities have the same sign. So essentially, I can add both these inequalities. When I add both these inequalities, the minus n cuts itself off with the plus n, so both of them result in a 0. And when I add both of them, what do I have? I have minus 4m, and then I have a plus 5 over here and another plus 5 over here, which is plus 10. When I take the plus 10 to the right hand side of this inequality, that becomes a minus 10. So what I get is minus 4m greater than minus 10. This is what I got over here. I need to find out the range of m. So the first thing I'll do is I'll divide this entire equation that I have with 4, or also another thing that I see is I have a negative value. So very, very important part over here. Whenever I have a negative value in my inequality, I have to essentially change that value to a positive value over here, because I need to find out the values of plus m and not minus m. So I need to multiply this entire inequality with minus 1. When I do that, I get minus 1 times minus 4m, which is 4m. And then I have a minus 10 over here in the right hand side. When I multiply minus 10 with minus 1, I get a positive 10 over here. But you see that the sign of the inequality changes from a greater than sign previously. Now I'm having a less than sign. A very, very important to note. Please note this in your copies. Whenever we multiply an inequality with a negative number, the sign of the inequality changes. So let's say I have an inequality x greater than minus 1. If I need to multiply this entire inequality with minus 2, I'll have to write minus 2x is, I'll have to change the symbol. I have a greater than symbol, that would be now changed to a less than symbol, and then I'll be having a plus 2 in the right hand side. So very, very important, a part where a lot of students essentially falters. So whenever I have or I multiply a negative number to the inequality, the sign of the inequality changes. So 4m now is less than 10. Divide both the sides of this inequality with 4. I get the value of m, or the range of m. M is less than 10 by 4, which is 2.5. So what are the values that m can take? M can take all values which is less than 2.5, which is 2, 1, 0, minus 1, and that can go to minus infinity. One thing over here is the constraint that's given in the question. It's given how many non-negative integral values. So not only are we required to find the number of integral values, they also should be non-negative in nature. So I cannot go to negative values such as minus 1, minus 2, and all those. I have to stop at 0. The moment I stop at 0, what are the three numbers that I have? I have 0, 1, and 2. So in all, I have a total of 3 possible non-negative integral values of m. That is the solution for this question. Now I'm going to bring in the yes no poll. What I would want all of you to mark a yes if you have understood the solution for this question. 2, 3 very, very important things to keep in mind. Also, the constraints that's given in the question, very important. If you miss the constraint, you might make a mistake. All right, thank you for your answers. I see all of you have understood the solution to it. So I see almost around 60% of you, 50% of you marking choices A, B, or D. I'm going to open the short answer poll. I want you people to tell me, where did you falter in this question? Because it's not that difficult a question. So if you made an error, where was it? Okay, you forgot 0. You thought 0 is a 0 doesn't count as a non-negative integer. Okay, I almost see a lot of people. So that might be true, and in that case you might say, okay, the answer is choice B. What about people who mark choice D and choice A? What about them? For them, 0 cannot be a problem, right? For them, the problem was something else. I want to understand what was that. Didn't know how to approach, okay. Did not eliminate n. Okay. Again, so 2 3 very important things. Let's just pause for a minute over here and understand what are the things that we need to keep in mind for solving these kind of questions. The first thing, if I am to find out the value of one variable, I have to eliminate the other variable, right? How do I do that? I'll try to cancel the elements through manipulation of the inequalities. Very, very important. Second, when I multiply a negative number to an inequality, the sign of the inequality would change. Third, inequalities with the same sign can be added together. And fourth, 0 is a non-negative integer. With all the learnings that we had in this question, let's now move ahead with the next question, that is question number 4. And please ensure that you do not make the same errors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the poll over here. Just give me a moment. Let me bring in the fourth questions poll, open the poll. All right, let's have 70 people mark us still solving, please. And then I'll give you the next question, question number 4. Let's have 70 people. I have 56. Let's get another 14. 68, 72. Perfect. So I'm going to stop broadcasting results and let's move ahead to question number 4. All right, last 5 seconds for this question. Let's take another 5 seconds and mark the answer for this one, please. Three, two, and 1. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results for all of you. I see 15% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice A. 64% of you tell me that it's choice C, another 7% of you think it's B or D. Now, before I move ahead in this question, what do I have? What is the range of x? So I need to find out the range of x. For the inequality, x minus 2 times x minus 3 is greater than 0. So the product of x minus 2 and x minus 3 is a positive number. I have opened the short answer poll for all of you. Can you people tell me when is a product of two numbers positive? Can you people tell me this? When is a product of two numbers positive in nature? Absolutely correct. When both of them are positive or when both of them are negative. That's the only case when both of the number, the product would be a positive number. Thank you for all of your answers. I'm going to end the poll over here. We'll take this information and move ahead solving this question. Now I have this inequality. I need to find out the range of x. You people told me that both can either be positive or negative. So both x minus 2 and x minus 3 are positive in nature or both are negative in nature. If both are positive in nature, uh, then x minus 2 is greater than 0 or x is greater than 2. If both are uh, negative in nature, then x minus 2 and x minus 3 both are less than 0. In the first case, if x minus 2 is greater than 0, x is greater than 2, and if x minus 3 is greater than 0, x is greater than 3. In the second case, if x minus 2 is less than 0, x has to be less than 2. If x minus 3 is less than 0, x has to be less than 3. Now, if I look at both these inequalities, x is greater than 2 as well as greater than 3. After combining both these inequalities, you must say that x is greater than 3. How do I reach to it? Let's say I draw a number line over here. From the first inequality, x is greater than 2. So somewhere over here, I have 2. Somewhere over here, I have 3. From the first inequality, I say that x is greater than 2. From the second inequality, I say that x is greater than 3. Which is that common region in which both of these inequalities satisfy? It is the region from x being greater than 3, right? So after combining both, I have the inequality x is greater than 3. From both these inequalities, what do I get is x again less than 2. The same process, I draw a number line, I have two numbers, x is less than 2. So somewhere here I have 3, somewhere here I have 2. From the first inequality, I can say that x is to the left of 2, and from the second inequality I can say that x is to the left of 3. When I combine both, what is the common region? The common region is to the left of 2, which is x less than 2. So I have two regions for this question. One is from minus infinity to 2, which is x being less than 2. The other is 3 to infinity, where x is greater than 3. When I combine both of that, the answer for this question is choice C. Right now, I see almost around 25% of you marking the wrong answer. I'm going to clear all the answers from the short answer poll. I want all of you to tell me where did you falter for this question, because this again was not that difficult, correct? If it was greater than equal to, how would the answer be written? Very good question. Had that, had the question asked me greater than equal to, then I would have used whether 2 and 3 are to be included in my answer or not. So for that, I would have to use the square brackets. Right. Okay. So some of you solved for one set, some of you formed a quadratic equation and then forgot how to take it, then was confused how to take it forward. And some of you also forgot the concept. All right. So we know this concept. Let's now take, understand another concept and solve this question. And a few of you are also telling me, what about wavy line? The same question can be solved using another technique, which we call the wavy line technique. right? Now, what does the wavy line technique tell us? Uh, we have this inequality: x minus 2 times x minus 3 is greater than 0, right? It's a positive number. Now, essentially what we do is we try to visualize these points on the number line. So we have the roots for this equation: x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 3. How do you get the roots? Calculate every part to be equal to 0. So I have two roots: one is 2, the other is 3, right? These are the roots for this equation. What I now do is I try to look at the number line and I see that there are three regions that I have got. One is from minus infinity to 2, the other is from 2 to 3, the other is from 3 to positive infinity. So these are the three regions do I have, right? Now, let's take one region at a time and see what effect does it have on these two numbers, x minus 2 and x minus 3. If we take the first region, which is from 3 to infinity, let's take any number which is greater than 3. If x is greater than 3, x minus 2 is a positive number, right? X minus 3 is also a positive number. And what happens when we multiply two positive numbers? We get a positive product. So here the product is also positive in nature. So this is the region where we get a positive product. Is this region true according, or is this region aligned to the question? Yes, it is, because in the question itself, they are asking us which is that region which gives us a positive product. Greater than 0 means a positive product. So this is a region that we can consider for the answer. The second region, let's consider from 2 to 3. Now this second region that we have, let's take any number which is between 2 and 3. So x lies between 2 and 3. If x lies between 2 and 3, x minus 2 has to be a positive number because it's greater than 2. But since x is less than 3, x minus 3 will be a negative number. What happens when I multiply a positive and a negative number? I get the product to be equal to negative. Does this align with our question? No, it does not. Since it does not align with our question, I cannot take this as our answer. The third part, or the third region, is from minus infinity to 2 over here, which is x less than 2. Now, if x is less than 2, x minus 2 is also a negative number. X minus 3 is also a negative number. And what happens when we multiply two negative numbers? We get a positive product. Is it aligned with our question? Yes, again it is. So this is the region which we can consider for an answer. So we had two regions in this question which we could consider for our answer. The first is from 3 to infinity. The second is from minus infinity to 2. When we combine both of that, this is what we are looking for. So the answer for this question is choice C. Now, to learn more about wavy line, let me also share you another link. And this was a post that we made long back, and that helps you understand about wavy line in a much better format. Just give me a moment over here. Let me share that link to all of you. Yes. So I've pasted the link. You can see the poll over here. What I can do is I can launch this link for all of you, or you can simply copy this link or click over here on the wavy line method, and that would take you to the post that we had written. It has every information about why to use wavy line and how do you use wavy line to reach at the answer. Right? I hope that would benefit you in a much better format. All right, so with that, let me hide out this poll over here, and let me hide this poll. We'll move ahead with question number 5. Let me bring you the poll for question number 5. The poll for question number 5 is up. Can you please mark us still solving, and then let's move ahead to the 5th question. I have 65 people. Let's get 5 more, and then let's move ahead to the next question. 68, 69, one more. 70. Perfect. Let me stop broadcasting the results and let's move ahead to question number 5. All right, last 10 seconds for this question, guys. If you've not marked the answer, please mark them on the poll over here. Let's take another 10 seconds to solve this one and then discuss the answer. All right, 3, 2, and 1. So let me end the poll and broadcast the results. I see 9% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice A, 5% tell me it's choice B, 51% of you tell me it's choice C, another 28% tell me it's choice D. Now, before I move ahead to the solution for this question, I'll bring in the yes no poll. What I want you people to tell me is how many of you substituted values to mark the answer for this question? How many of you substituted values to mark? So you took a value from any of these ranges that's given in the options and then did calculated for the answer. Look, I'm very happy to see that it's only the number is the count is below 20% because that is not a proper approach to solve questions. For this question, you can still get to the answer, but for difficult questions in GMAT, that's simply not going to happen, right? So please refrain from substituting numbers to find, calculate ranges, right? So with that, let me hide the yes no poll. Thank you for all of your answers, and then move ahead to see this question. Now, in this question, it is given that what is the range of values of x? So I need to find out the range of values of x if x minus 3 divided by x plus 4 is less than 0. So now here in this question, I have a fraction and the value of the fraction is a negative number. How do I approach? I was now seeing all kind of questions and they were in the product form or in the subtracted or the addition form. But here I see a fraction over here. Now, a very nice way to approach these kind of questions is essentially when you get rid of the denominator, right? So I'm gonna open the short answer poll. Tell me, how do I get rid of the denominator over here in this question that I have? Any idea on how to do this? I need to get x plus 4 out from the denominator? Hmm. So I see as a few of you tell me that multiply with x plus 4. A few of you also tell me that multiply with a square number. Now, I'll tell you that's absolutely what I wanted you people to think as well. And you people have aced it, you people have thought in the right direction. But some of you have made a very small mistake. Now, what happens when I multiply this entire inequality with just x plus 4? Since I do not know that x plus 4 is positive or negative, I don't know whether this sign over here, the sign of the inequality over here would remain same or it would change, right? Because I do not know anything about x plus 4. But if I multiply with x plus 4 whole square, now x plus 4 whole square is a perfect square. And what is the advantage of having a perfect square over here? Perfect squares are always non-negative in nature, correct? So the moment I multiply it with x plus 4, I'm sure that it's not a negative number. And since it's not a negative number, the sign of the inequality will not change. And once I do that, I have two x plus 4s in the numerator, one in the denominator, one would cancel out, and I can simply write x plus 4 times x minus 3 is less than 0. Right? Is this concept clear to all of you? If it is, please mark a yes on the yes no poll. Why did I multiply with x plus 4 whole square and not only with x plus 4? Again see some of you are not clear with this. So let me explain this to you once more. I cannot multiply simply with x plus 4 because I do not know where x plus 4 is positive or negative. Then in that case, you need to subdivide the question into two parts. Taking x plus 4 to be a positive number where we do not change the sign, taking x plus 4 to be a negative number where we change the sign, calculate two answers, find out the common range, and then go to answering the question. The second way out here is you do not multiply with x plus 4, you multiply it with x plus 4 whole square. Now, the positive thing about x plus 4 whole square is that x plus 4 whole square is a perfect square, is a perfect square, is a non-negative number. Since it's a non-negative number, my sign of this inequality will not change. Since it does not change, I can easily calculate with the next part, right? Okay, I have a question. If even if it's negative, then also sign gets cancelled by the denominator. No, I cannot do that. So if it's a negative number, I have to ensure that the sign of the inequality is changed because I'm multiplying, right? Since I'm multiplying, I'll be having a numerator over here. The sign of the inequality needs to be changed. All right, so that is the reason why I have used x plus 4 whole square in spite of x plus 4 only. The moment I do that, this is something that we had solved in the previous question. X plus 4 times x minus 3 is less than 0. If it's a negative number, you can approach it in two methods. One is positive, one is negative. Calculate the answer. Or an easy method to solve this question is using the wavy line technique. What are the roots for this inequality? Minus 4 and plus 3. You have three regions, which is from 3 to infinity, minus 4 to 3, and then minus infinity to 4. Take one number at a time, one region at a time. Check out for which of the regions do I have a positive value, for which of the regions do I have a negative value. If I do that, I see I am getting a negative value for this region, which is from minus 4 to 3. Since that aligns with my question over here, I needed to find out the negative values. That is the answer for this question. I hope with this, the solution and the understanding of why do I multiply this entire inequality with x plus 4 whole square is clear to all of you. Right, but again, if you want to become very fast in solving these questions, please understand how to use the wavy line technique. I had shared the link with all of you. Use that link, understand how to do questions. And a very interesting thing about wavy line is you know, the sequence is alternate. So the moment you find the first region to be positive and negative, all the next set of regions can be found out within the next 5 seconds. So that won't take you much time. So the only thing that you need to take care is of the first region, whatever you choose to solve the question. Achal has a question for me. Are these questions that cannot be solved using, are there questions that cannot be solved using wavy line method? There are, where the power of x might differ and manipulation needs to come into effect. For those questions, you would rather find other ways to solve them out. But for I don't seem that many questions, that kind of questions coming in the GMAT's context. So you can completely be sure of that. Right, with that, let's move ahead to question number 6. Give me one moment, please, and I'll bring you the poll for the 6th question. All right, I have the poll over here. Let me clear all the answers and open the poll. All right, can I have 70 people mark are still solving over here, please? I have 52. Okay, I have 68. Let's have another two people marking are still solving. All right, I have 72. All right, let's move ahead to question number 6 over here. All right, last 5 seconds to mark the answer for this question. 3, 2, and 1. So let me end the poll over here and broadcast the results. Okay. It's giving me some strange answers. So let me just end the poll and all right. So 78% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice C. 13% of you tell me that it's choice A. Another 9% who tell me it's choice D. So let me hide the poll and let's solve this question. Now, in this question, I have um, absolute value inequations, right? Inequalities. So, what is the question asking me? Which of the following inequalities is equivalent to mod of x plus 3 to be less than equal to 5? Now, how many of you substituted the value of x to find out the answer for this question? Can I get some people mark a yes or a no over here? Okay, I see someone who has done that. A few, very few people who have substituted. But again, for this question, we'll not substitute. See, the only thing over here is if you substitute, you would get to the answer. But why would we not substitute? Because the with solving more questions accurately, you start getting difficult questions in GMAT, right? And when you start getting those difficult questions, these processes of substitution or shortcuts don't work at all. So please ensure that you don't substitute values to solve or to get to the answer for these questions. Right, all right, let me end the poll, clear all the answers over here, and let's solve this question. So I have mod of x plus 3 to be less than equal to 5. Now to solve this question in a much better format, what I do is I replace mod of x plus 3. I substitute x plus 3 to be equal to z. So when I do that, I write mod of z is less than equal to 5. Now, how is mod of z less than equal to 5 visualized on the number line? Let's say that I have z on 0 over here, and to 5 units distance, everything is something that I need to consider. So from 0 to the left, I go 5 units. From 0, I go 5 units to the right. So from minus 5 to 5 is something the values of z would lie in, right? So the range of z would be from minus 5 less than equal to z less than equal to 5. So this is a manipulation process skill that we have to keep in mind to solve for the first part of this question. Now what? I have the answer with respect to z. I cannot mark the answer with respect to z because in the question I have an x over here. So what I do is I again replace z with x plus 3. And how do I do that? I simply, once I do that, I place x plus 3 over here. Now I have minus 5 less than equal to x plus 3 less than equal to 5. Then since I have a plus 3 over here in between, I subtract 3 from all the three parts of this inequality. So I subtract 3 from minus 5, I subtract 3 from x plus 3, and I also subtract 3 from 5. Once I do that, the inequality stands at minus 8 less than equal to x less than equal to 2, which is choice C being the right answer for this question. So two very important thing to understand and grasp for this question. The first thing is, if you substitute, the calculations become a bit easy. The second thing is that you need to interpret absolute values as distances between 2 points, and let's discuss about that in a much more detailed fashion. Now let's take an example. Let's say, let me draw something for all of you. Let's say you have a friend with you. Both of you are walking on a straight line, right? And let's just take the help of coordinate geometry for only 30 seconds over here. Your friend is standing at 4 comma 0 over here on the x-axis, and you are standing at 1 comma 0. Can you people tell me what is the distance? And let me open the short answer poll for all of you. Can you people tell me what is the distance between you and your friend? You are standing at 1, your friend is standing at 4. Absolutely correct. The distance between you and your friend is of 3 units. How did you calculate? You subtracted your location from with respect to your friend's location, right? You subtracted this point 1 from 4, and that's how you reach to your answer. We'll do the same thing with to understand absolute inequalities, or to understand absolute values. And how do I do that? So in this inequality, what do I have? I have x plus 3 to be less than equal to minus 5. So consider this point that you are standing at x, and one of your friend is standing at a point minus 3. Now, if both of you are standing at x and minus 3, how do you calculate the distance? You calculate the difference, which is x subtracting minus 3 from x, which is x minus of minus 3. And according to the question, consider this, whatever it is in the right hand side, consider this to be the distance between you and your friend. So if you are standing, if your friend is standing at minus 3, you should be standing within 5 units from your friend. So from 5 units to the left of minus 3 and 5 units to the right of minus 3. The moment you understand absolute values in terms of distance in this manner, it would really become very, very easy for you. One very important question that we need to understand and address over here is, why did I change the plus 3 symbol to a minus 3 over here? Okay, so you people told me that if you're standing at 4 and if your friend is standing at 1, you calculate the difference, right? Similarly, if this is the equation that I have in the question, I know that if I'm standing at x, if my friend is standing at 3, the difference is x minus 3. But here it's positive 3, it's not negative 3. So I need to ensure that my friend is at minus 3, so that when I calculate the difference, this negative sign and this negative sign gives me a positive sign as in the question over here. So two things. First, try to understand whatever points you have in terms of you standing at some coordinate, your friend standing at the other coordinate. Calculate the difference, and you need to manipulate whatever you calculate the difference according to the question statement. Secondly, whatever you have in the right hand side of this question, that is the distance within which you need to be as close as with your friend, right? So these two things, if you keep in mind, absolute numbers would become really very easy for you to comprehend. With that, let me end the poll and clear all the answers over here. So with that, we are done with the warm-up section. Now in this warm-up section, we saw a lot of things to keep in mind. First, when you multiply a negative number into an inequality, you have to change the sign of the inequality. Second, you need to read questions very nicely, otherwise you might miss constraints. Then to find the range of one number, when you have a question of two variables, you have to eliminate the second variable. These are some things that we learned in the question. Please understand that these questions that we solved are not that difficult questions. These were of the 600 level, till the 600 level questions. The next set of questions that we are going to solve would be requiring a much advanced level of application of these concepts that we saw over here. So, having a 200% clarity on the concepts and the application of concepts is really very, very important. At any point in time, if you feel that you need to learn a bit more, go to your e-GMAT free trial, look at the free resources that you have already, and that would help you a lot understanding the concepts and the process of application of those concepts. Right? With that, let's move ahead to the next section. So as I already told you, at any point in time, if you want to refer to the concepts, if you want to refer to how to apply those concepts, go to your e-GMAT free trial. You have all resources present over there already. Also, before I move ahead with the next set of questions, and these questions would be of typically of 600 to 700 level. We'll start off with questions which are of the 600 level, two questions, two questions of that, and then move ahead to the 700 level questions. At any point in time, if you feel that you need some help, then what we offer is, just give me one moment over here. We offer I cannot see that link. Just give me a moment, please. Yes. So we offer a one-to-one free consultancy call with one of our GMAT strategy experts. So at all point in time, we want you people to expend your energy in the right direction, and you should reach your target score in the minimum amount of time possible. So at any point in time, if you want to talk to one of our strategy experts to understand how to go about this entire journey, what kind of resources do you require, what kind of metrics do you need to track, if you are scoring low on verbal or quant, what are those steps that you need to take, please ensure that you book a call with one of our GMAT strategy experts. I've opened the link for all of you. Just click on that help me 740 score button over there and post that. You can you need to fill your personal details and you can get access to that one-on-one call with one of our GMAT strategy experts. If you're being or if you're into any sort of trouble, or if you have any kind of concern over your GMAT preparation, make sure you get the opportunity at your hand and use this opportunity to talk to one of our strategy experts. With that, let me give you the next set of questions. The next set of questions are fairly, the first question is fairly simple, and then the game starts on building. Now, please understand and remember whatever we learned in the first six warm-up questions, because they would really come in very handy in these set of questions. So let me give you the poll over here. Let me hide out the yes no poll. Let me give you the poll over here. I've opened the poll over here. Can you please mark us still solving? Let's get 70 people over here and we would move ahead with the first question. I have 52, 55. Let's get 15 more people. I have 62. Let's get 8 more. 67. I require 3 more. 70. That's perfect. So I'm going to close broadcasting results. And this is the first question. All right, another 10 seconds. It's a very easy question. Let's mark our answers in the chat in the poll over here. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results. So I see no one marking choice A. That's really great. 11% of you have marked choice B, 57% of you have marked choice C, and another 17% of you have marked choice D. So a very easy question. What is the range of x if 16x plus 32 is greater than 48x plus 96? We'll use the same concept. We'll take the like terms to one side of this inequality. So what I do is I take 48x to the left hand side and then I take 32 to the right hand side. While doing that, I get minus 32x to be greater than 64. I need to find out the range of x. So since I have a minus 32x over here, I need to multiply this with minus 1. When I do that, I get 32x and minus 64 from a plus 64. But the sign of the inequality needs to be changed. So since I had a greater than sign previously, now I would be having a less than sign, because when I multiply an inequality with a negative number, the sign of the inequality will change. If you do not do this, you might have made a very silly mistake over here. So upon dividing both the sides of this inequality with 32, what I get is x less than minus 2. So x less than minus 2 is the answer for this question. And if x is less than minus 2, the range is from minus infinity to minus 2, for which choice C is the right answer. I hope this solution is clear to all of you. Now, because this was again very easy, right? It was not that difficult. If you had not changed the sign, you might have ended up with this answer, which was incorrect. Now, I have almost 30% of you tell me that it's choice B, D, or E. I'm gonna open the short answer poll. Please tell me, where did you falter for this question? Forgot to change the sign. Ah, again. So you okay. So see, we don't call it a silly mistake, right? If you call it a silly mistake, if you associate this word silly with a mistake, um, you might tend to make the same mistake again. So I would not want you people to call this a silly mistake. It's a very big mistake, because it costed you the entire question even after spending a minute or 2 minutes on this, right? So please ensure that you understand all of these processes to not make these mistakes in the next set of questions, please. Right? And since all of you forgot to change the sign, that was the reason you got it incorrect. Let's pledge this, and let's not make this mistake again in the next set of questions. Right, with that, let me end the poll. Thank you for all of your answers, and let me clear all the answers from here as well. I'm going to reopen the poll. Can you please mark us still solving? Let's get 70 people mark us still solving over here, please. I have 51, 52. Let's get to 70. The faster we reach 70, the faster you get the question as well. So please ensure you mark still solving at the earliest. I have 68. Let's get two more people. 69. Again, back to 68. All right. 70. Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys. So I'm going to stop broadcasting the results, and let's go to the second question. All right, last 5 seconds, guys. If you have not marked the answer, please mark it in the answer poll. Let's take another 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results. 36% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice A. 43% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice B. All right. Now, what is the question asking me? What is the minimum value of integer x? So guys, tell me. I've opened the short answer poll. Why is choice A incorrect? 36% of you have told me that is choice A. Why is choice A incorrect? Right. Yes, choice A is incorrect because 5.5 is not an integral number, right? And this is the importance of reading the question statement properly. So all of you did not make any mistake, very honestly. But the only thing that you did is you did not read the question properly, and that costed you the question as well as the 2 minutes that you invested in the question. So again, let's not do this in the next from the next question onwards. Let's look at the question, read the question more properly, right? So let's go to the solution. What do I need to do? I need to find out the value of x. We already have seen this expression in the last statement. I knew that the value of uh, x would be equal to less than -2 from the last question, right? From the second inequality, what do I have? I take the value of x to the right hand side. I take the value left hand side, sorry. I take the value 70 to the right hand side. I get the value of 2x to be I get the value of 2x to be greater than equal to -11, or the value of x to be greater than equal to -5.5. So if I combine both of these together, what is the range that I'm getting? I'm getting a range for x which is from -5.5 to -2. This is the range that I have. What do I need to find out? The minimum value. The minimum value is -5.5, but wait, there's another word over here. The minimum value of integer x. So x needs to be an integer, right? What is the next value from -5.5, which is an integer? It's -5, which means choice B is the right answer for this question. Right? I hope the solution is very clear to all of you. Again, two very important takeaways. Please read the question statement properly and pay special attention to the constraints given in the question. If you do not do this, even after getting to that last step, you might make a very simple error, right? And then also ensure that you calculate the value of x at all points in time according to the given constraints. I have a question. How did you simplify? So let me just take another moment. Let me see. So EC asks me, how did I simplify for this? So basically, the first step is very easy, right? We did it in the last question, the simplification process. The next step is where I simplify the second inequality. In this inequality, I take the x to the left hand side, take 17 to the right hand side. So 3x minus x gives me 2x at the left hand side. 6 minus 17 gives me -11 at the right hand side. Divide both the sides of this inequality with 2. You get x to be greater than equal to -5.5. I hope that's clear to you. All right, so let me end the poll over here and clear all the answers. So guys, again, keep in mind constraints are something you can never let go. I'll reopen the poll. Let's move ahead with the next question. Question number 3. Can you please mark us still solving? Let's get 70 people mark us still solving. And now we are going to that level of 700. So please ensure you're much more focused. You have all of your concentration towards here. 64 people. I have 64. Let's get another 6 quickly, please. I have 67. Let's get 3 more. 67, I have 68, 69, just one more. All right, I'm waiting for another participant to mark us still solving over here. I have my 70. All right, thanks a lot, guys. I'll stop broadcasting the results. Let's move ahead to question number 3. All right, guys, let's take another 10 seconds to mark the answer for this question. Last 10 seconds, and then we discuss the solution for this one. Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results. So 33% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice A, 38% of you think it's choice D, 10% of you think it's choice C, another 5% saying it's E or B. All right, now before I move ahead in this question, let's read this question and understand. What is the range of values of z square? Given that z square plus 4 times z square minus 2 is less than 0, or the product is a negative number. This is the question that I have. The first thing over here, I need to find out the range of z square. I'm going to open the short answer poll. If I need to find out the range of z square, guys, can you tell me what is z square and what kind of a number is it? Is it a positive number, negative number, non-negative number? Okay, I have some people tell me it's a positive number, some people tell me it's a non-negative number. So correct way to look at this over here is by saying that z square is a non-negative number. It's not a positive number. It can also be equal to 0, and 0 is not positive. Please keep that in mind. So 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 um, uh, this is something that we have to keep in mind. It can also be negative if imaginary. Again, that's out of the context of GMAT, so we'll not discuss that. GMAT only revolves around real numbers. So here as well will be taking real numbers itself. So z square is always non-negative in nature. So it's either 0 or a positive number, right? So from the 5 options over here, and let me quickly clear all the answers from the short answer poll. Let me quickly clear all the answers from the short answer poll. Just give me one moment, guys. With all of your questions, I would address them. Now, just after looking at these 5 options, I need to find out the range of z square. Can you people tell me which 3 options can never be the answer? Which 3 options can never be the answer? Only by looking at the options and looking at z square. A, C, and E. Absolutely correct. Why? Because in A, I have z squared taking a negative value, even in C, even in E. So A, C, and E tell me that the answer can have a negative value, which is not possible because I know z square is a non-negative number. So this is the first thing that should have struck your head. Second, let me end the poll and clear all the answers very quickly. If z square is a non-negative number, what can you say about z square plus 4? This number over here. If z square is a non-negative number, what can you say about z square plus 4? Is it positive, negative, non-negative? Absolutely correct. It's always a positive number. The minimum value of z square is equal to 0, right? With that, I have 4. So the minimum value of z square plus 4 is 4. So z square plus 4 is either 4 or greater than 4, right? Keep this in your mind. Z square plus 4 is either 4 or greater than 4. It can't be minus 4. No, it can never be minus 4. Please understand, z square is a non-negative number. With that, I'm adding a positive number. So the entire number would be a positive number, right? So I have a positive number times a negative number and the product is a negative number. What does this tell me? A positive number times another number is a negative number. What does it tell me about the second number? What does it tell me about the second number? Is it positive, negative, non-negative? What about that? Yes, it is a negative number because only if the second number is a negative number, the product of this number, which is always a positive number, times this number would be a negative number. So my second number has to be a negative number. I do not know what values would z square take. I just know that z square minus 2 has to be a negative number. Is this clear to all of you? Please mark a yes or a no. That z square minus 2 has to be a negative number. There's no way out that it's not a negative number. Okay, I still see 5 people who are confused, 4 people who are confused with this. Please understand, z square plus 4 is always positive. The product is negative. When is a product negative? When one of the numbers is negative, right? So that essentially means that z square minus 2 has to be negative in nature. Only then I can say that this entire product is negative. If z square minus 2 is positive, then the product would be positive, which is not the case in this question. So we'll take this. All right, thank you for all of your answers. Let me quickly clear all the answers from the short answer poll. So that essentially means the question comes down to one very simple thing, that z square minus 2 is a negative number. How do we calculate that? We know that z square is a non-negative number, so z square plus 4 is always greater than 0, is always a positive number. So that essentially brings us to the point that z square minus 2 is a negative number. If z square minus 2 is a negative number, right, then z square minus 2 has to be less than 0. Take 2 to the right hand side of this inequality, you get the value of z square to be less than 2. Now, by the definition of z square, since it's a perfect square, we know that it's either 0 or greater than 0. So z square is a number which is greater than equal to 0. It's also less than 2 according to this question. So what is the final range? The final range is this, that z square would lie from 0 to 2. 0 is included, 2 is not. So the answer for this question is choice D. The level for this question is somewhere around the 650, 670 range, right? I hope the solution to this question to all of you is now clear. Just give me one moment. Yes, I hope the solution is now clear to all of you. So with that, let's move ahead with the next question. Please mark as still solving. We would move ahead to question number 4. Let's get 70 people mark as still solving really quick. And guys, these are very interesting questions. These would test a lot of things from your arsenal, whether you have that or you do not. So please ensure you read the question, try to get the question, try to get the solutions for these questions, because it's perfectly all right if you're not getting the answer on the first go, but you need to understand the solution for all these questions. Okay, I have 59 people. Let's get another one. All right, let's get 60 people, please. I have 59. All right, I have 60. So I'm gonna stop broadcasting the results. Let's go to question number 4 here on your screen. All right, last 5 seconds to mark the answer for this question. Last 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll, broadcast the results. Now this question again, half of the question is from the previous question itself. So I assume that a lot of you would do this question correctly. 8% if you tell me that the answer is choice B, 13% if you tell me that it's choice D, 67% if you tell me it's choice C. Let's read the question and try to get the answer. If Z is an integer, again, a very important constraint for this question. How many values of Z square? So if Z is an integer, Z square also needs to be an integer. Satisfy the inequality Z square plus 4 times Z square minus 2 is negative numbers. Now, this was something that we had in the last question. And from that last question, we found out this inequality, right? That Z square needs to be either greater than equal to 0 or it's less than 2. So what are the different values that Z square can take? And what are the different integral values that are present in this range? The different integral values are 0 and 1. Because since it's less than 2, I cannot take 2. So 0 and 1 are the only two integral values. Can Z square take 0? Yes, it can. Can Z square take 1? Yes, it can, because both of these numbers lie in this range itself. So that is the reason the answer for this question is choice C and not choices B or D. Again, -1. So, okay, I have a question over here. Why can I not have -1? Because Z square can never be a negative number. So since you said it's -1, you might have thought that you need to calculate the value of z. But again, the question is not asking you to calculate the value of z, it's asking you to calculate the value of z squared, right? So z squared is always positive in nature. Bharat, is it clear to you? Perfect. I thought we need to find the integral values of the z. Shubham, is it clear to you? We cannot think or assume anything. We only have to go with what's given in the question. Right? All right, perfect. So with this, I hope it's clear to all of you. Now, let's look at the 4 questions that we did. Keep in mind, what are the different things that we are continuously learning? Changing the sign of the inequality when multiplied by a negative number. Then a perfect square is always non-negative. It's either equal to 0 or a positive number. We also saw the wavy line technique in question 4, simplifying the questions, focusing on constraints, something very, very important. Not the value of z, but the value of z square. And reading the question statement properly. That goes for all questions that you are solving in GMAT quant or verbal. If you did not read the questions properly, you are going to miss some parts of the question that would harm you. Please do not do that. Right? With that, now let's move ahead with the 700 level questions. Are you guys ready? Please mark a yes. And let me get you the poll. All right, perfect. So I'm going to clear this poll over here and let's get all of you markers still solving, please. I have 41 people. Let's get 60 people markers still solving over here, please. I have 50. Let's get another 10. 59, 60. Perfect. Let's move ahead with question number 5 on your screen. All the best, guys. All right, last 10 seconds for this question, guys. Let's take another 10 seconds and mark the answer. Five, four, three, two, and one. Okay, so let me end the poll and broadcast the results. 5% of you tell me it's um, -6. Okay, choice A. 17% of you tell me that is choice B. Almost 17% between C and D, and 35% of you tell me the answer choice for this question is choice E. All right. Now I'm gonna open the short answer poll. I want you people to tell me, just only looking at the question, why can A not be the answer? Why can A not be the answer? Even before I ask that question, MG tells me it says positive, and then that's the best thing out of you, out of this, making that connect, that what question do I want to ask, and then that's really great to see. Yes, -6 can never be the answer because I need to calculate the positive difference between the values of x and minimum values of x and y, right? So 8 can never be the answer over here. All right, thank you for your answers, guys. Now, before I move ahead with the question, let me clear all the answers. Tell me, how was this question? Was it difficult? Because I was seeing you people taking a bit more time than the other questions. It was tricky, it was hard, not at all. Lengthy, yes, correct. It was a lengthy question. It was not that difficult, I would say, right? Right. So let's read this question. X and y are positive integers. I have been given two inequalities. What is the positive difference between the minimum possible values of x and the minimum value of y? So in this question, whatever we were doing in the last set of questions, we were to find the range of one number. Here we need to define the range of two numbers, right? Once for x, once for y. So what should be the process? To find out the value of x, what do I need to do? To find out the value of x, what do I need to do? Please mark your answers in the short answer poll. You need to eliminate y. Absolutely correct. To find out the value of y, what do I need to do? I need to eliminate x. So whatever we learned in the last set of questions, we need to do this here twice. That's the only difference. In all last questions, we are doing it once. In this question, we need to do it twice. And if you do it twice with proper diligence, you would get to the answer, right? So let me end the poll and clear all the answers. Thank you for putting down your answers over here. So what are the two equations that I have? I have x plus 2y greater than 20. I have 3x minus 30 less than minus y, right? Only constraint that's given in the question is x and y both are positive integers. Now, let's first calculate, or let's first move calculate the value of y. Find out the range of x. Sorry, not y. Let's first find out the range of x. Now the first range is when I have x plus 2y to be greater than 20. If I take 20 to the left hand side, I get x plus 2y minus 20 to be greater than 0. The second inequality tells me that 3x minus 30 is less than minus y. So if I take y to the right hand side, left hand side, I get 3x plus y minus 30 is less than 0. Just give me one moment, please. Yes, I'm sorry. All right, so I have the two inequalities with me, right? So now what do I have? I have that x plus 2y minus 20 is greater than 0, that I can see in inequality 1. The second inequality that I can write is multiply this inequality with minus 1. I'm just trying to make both the signs of the inequality same so that I can add both the inequalities. So then what do? I get I multiply this with minus 1, I get minus 3x minus y plus 30 to be greater than 0. This is what I get. So here what do I have? I have plus 2y, here I have minus y. So what you do is you multiply the first inequality with 3. When you multiply the first inequality 3, what do you get? You get 3x plus 6y minus 60 is greater than 0. And then when you add both of these, x, the positive 3x would negate with the negative 3x. I have a 6y over here, a minus y over here. So I get 5y, and then when I simplify that, I can get the value of y, and y would be greater than 6. So y is greater than 6. I'm sorry, it would be y to be greater than 6 and not 8. So if y is greater than 6 and y is also an integer, what is the minimum value of y? The minimum value of y is 7. This is something that we need to infer. If y is greater than 6, I need to find out an integer. The minimum integer which is greater than 6 is equal to 7. So I got the value of y. What about the value of x? Now I have that y is greater than 6 over here. If I use this value of y and put this value of y in my equation 2, right? What can I write? I can write that the value of minus 3x, and since I have a plus 20, since I have a plus 30 over here, and I would be bringing the minus 6 over here. With plus 30 and minus 6, I'll be getting a 24, and then I can take the 24 to the right hand side of this inequality. I get a minus 24 to the right hand side. I have 3x to be greater than minus 24. Divide both the sides of this inequality with 3. You get minus x to be greater than minus 8. I have the value of minus x. I need to get the value of x. So I multiply this entire inequality with minus 1. Once I do that, the sign of the inequality would change. So minus x would change to plus x, minus 8 would change to 8. The greater than sign would now become a less than sign. So x is less than 8. Now if x is less than 8, what do I need to calculate? I need to calculate the minimum possible value of positive integral x. If x is less than 8, x can take all values such as 7, 6, 5, and it can go till minus infinity. But if it's positive, it can never go beyond 0, right? It can never go beyond 0. And what is the value of the smallest positive integer? It's equal to 1. So the minimum value that x can take is equal to 1, right? So this is something, again, we have to keep in mind. I have a question. Why is y equal to 6 and not 7? Since y needs to be an integral number, right? And y is greater than 6. So the value of y can be everything greater than 6, right? So it cannot take the value of 6. It can take the value of 7, 8, all of that. What is the minimum value? The minimum value is equal to 7. I have another question. Why can x not take the value of 0? Because 0 is not a positive integer. And in the question, I need a positive integer. The minimum positive integer in number system is equal to 1. So the value of x is equal to 1. The value of y is equal to 7. What is the positive difference? The positive difference is equal to 7 minus 1, which is equal to 6. Right? I hope the solution is clear to all of you. I have some few questions, so let's look at these questions first before going to the next set of questions that I have. Didn't get 0 in some exercises. It could be negative or positive, but here it can't be positive. Again, 0 is not at all a positive number. 0 is a non-negative number, but non-negative does not mean it's a positive number, right? So please understand that 0 is a non-negative number, but not a positive number. The smallest positive integer is equal to 1. This is something that you have to keep in mind. The smallest possible integer is equal to 1. Non-negative and non-positive. Yes, you can call 0 to be a non-negative and a non-positive number. No, 0 is not a negative number as well. Because as we discussed, perfect squares are non-negative. Perfect squares can also have the value of 0. So 0 can never be non-negative. I hope that's clear. Please do keep this in mind. Right? All right, so let me clear all the answers from the short answer poll and also from the poll over here. I'll reopen the poll. Okay, I have two more questions. Don't we have to take y as equal to at least 7 if it's bigger than 6 to calculate the value of x? No, again, we don't have to place the value of y with respect to x. X has independent value, y has an independent value. Since y is greater than 6, the minimum value would be equal to 7. Should we take the written order of x and y while calculating? Not really. But you use 6. No, I did not use 6 again. I used 7 over here. X is greater than 6, but the value, sorry, y is greater than 6, but the value of y should be equal to 7, no? Isn't that we should not substitute value of one variable to find the other in an inequality question? You can. Again, in that, what did I use? I used the value of, let me see who is this so that I can. So, Rob, I see that you have a question with respect to y to be equal to 6. I did not take y to be equal to 6. Here in equation 6, what you see is y minus 6 is greater than 0. Now, if I take y minus 6 is greater than 0 with this inequality number 2, if you add both of them, what do you get? You get minus 3x. The minus y with the plus y, positive y, cancels out each other. I have a minus 6 over here. With 30, it becomes a 24. I hope that is now clear to you. I hope this is clear to you, Rob, and everyone else who had a problem with this part. Y minus 6 is greater than 0. So if I put that in this inequality, equate, substitute, or you can say add both of them, you get to the range of y and x, right? Very good question. What precaution do you have to take to solve inequality operations? Again, you cannot add inequalities with different signs, so they have to be of the same sign, right? Also this part that when you multiply this inequality with a negative number, you have to change the signs of the inequality. So all these small things are really very, very important. Why can we not use the substitute method? You can use the substitution method only when the values of y and x are constants, right? When they are even in the range values, then it's really difficult to substitute per se. So you have to work with ranges itself. All right, so let me clear all the answers over here in the poll, and I have 26 people who have marked still solving. Let's get this number to 60 and let's see the next question. Question number 6, which would be the first DS question for this session. The first DS question for this session. So let's see question number 6, and I would need 60 of you mark still solving, please. I have 53 currently. Let's get another 7, 59, 60. Perfect. So let's move ahead with the next question. Question number 6 here on your screen. All right, 5 more seconds for this question, guys. Let's take another 5 seconds and then we will discuss the answer for this. 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll and broadcast the results. I see 25% of you marked choice A as the answer, 19% of you have marked choice C, 12% of you have marked choice D, 32% of you have marked choice E as the answer. All right, let's understand the question and try to find out the answer to this. Now, in the question, it is given that z is an integer such that mod of z is less than 6. I need to find out whether z is positive or not. So I need to find out whether z is positive or not. The constraint that's given in the question is z is an integer. Another information that's given is mod of z is less than 6. Now, if mod of z is less than 6, then from the idea of absolute inequations, we can write that z lies from -6 to +6. And if z is an integer, what are the different values that z can take? From -5 to +5, a total of 11 integers. Now, how many of you did this step while solving this question? Please mark a yes or a no. How many of you did this step while solving this question? Let's take 3 more seconds to put your answers. 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll. So 57% of you tell me that you have not done this approach. Another 43% have done this. So those 43% are very good job. These 57%. Whenever you have a DS question at hand, in which you have some information given in the question stem, before moving into the statement 1 or statement two's analysis, please ensure you understand every information that's given in the question stem. Once you do that, your question would become easy. The analysis part of the next set of questions would also become easy. So this is something that you have to keep in mind for the next set of DS questions that you solve. All right. So let me hide out this yes no poll. Thank you for all of your answers. And so I have 11 possible values of z ranging from -5 to +5. Now let's move ahead with the analysis of the first statement. The first statement tells me that mod of z minus 2 is greater than 3. So what we do for simplicity, we take the value of z minus 2 to be equal to t, and then we write that mod of t is greater than 3. If mod of t is greater than 3, then we can take everything that's present in the number line apart from the zone where mod of 3 is less than 3, right? We cannot take this apart from this, less than equal to rather. We cannot take this apart from this, we can take everything else. So what are the two ranges that we have? The first range is when t is greater than 3. The second range is when t is less than -3. So what is t? T means z minus 2. So one case is when z minus 2 is greater than 3. I'm talking about this case over here. The second case is z minus 2 is less than -3. I'm talking about this one over here. So z minus 2 is less than -3. If z minus 2 is greater than 3, then the value of z would be greater than 5. If z minus 2 is less than -3, then the value of z would be less than -1. Now, from these two statements, what we can see over here is z can be positive in nature, but here z is negative in nature. So only from these two statements, these two ranges, we cannot say whether z is positive or negative. Z can both be positive and negative. But from the question statement, we had this information that z is only between -6 to +6, right? And z is also integral. So z had the values from -5 to +5. Okay, I'm going to open the yes no poll. Just give me a moment over here and let me hide this poll out here. Let me give you the yes no poll, reopen the poll for all of you, and then tell me, If z belongs from -5 to +5, is there any value where z is greater than 5? If z belongs from -5 to +5 and z is an integer, is there any value where z can be greater than 5? No, right? So from this, we don't have any alignment with the question, so we can simply reject this part. What next part do I have? I have the value of z should be less than -1. If the value of z is less than -1 and z also lies between -5 and +5, I'm opening the short answer poll for all of you. Can you tell me what is z? Is it a positive number? Is it a negative number? Can it take both values? What would it be? It would only be negative, because the reason is that since z is less than -1 and z is also in this range, the only set of numbers that z can take is -5, -4, -3, and -2. That would satisfy z being less than -1 and z having these set of 11 numbers. Right? So that is the reason we can say that all the possible values of z are negative. Now, if all the possible values of z are negative, can I answer the question whether z is positive or not? Yes, I can. That no, z is not positive, right? So the first statement is a sufficient statement to answer this question. Okay, I have a question over here. How did I get x between -6 and -1? Um, I so this is z, right? It's not x. So z is between -6 and -1 according to the question that I had previously. The question statement where it was given that mod of z is less than 6. So from this statement I saw that z is from -6 to +6, right? Since in this part, I also had z to be less than -1, combining both, I could write z is from -6 to -1. But if we have z greater than 5, it can be 6. Again, it cannot be 6 because from the question statement, z is less than 6. Please try to understand this. Z is less than 6. I do not have any integral value where z is less than 6 as well as z is greater than 5. These are very small things that are there in this question that you need to understand. I hope it's now clear to all of you. Could you repeat the second statement? Yes, I would repeat the second statement. It was given that z minus 2 is less than -3. If you take -2 to the right hand side, I have z to be less than -1. Combining the value where z is to be from -6 to 6 and z is to be less than -1, I get the value of z to be from -6 to -1. Then I'll again go to the question stem. Did I have any number between -6 and -1? Any integral number of z? Yes, I had. I had the numbers of -4, -3, -2, and -5. Since all of those are negative in nature, I can say that z is not a positive number. It's a negative number, which tells me that the first statement is a sufficient statement. I hope this is clear. The next statement where it tells me that mod of z is equal to 2. Now, if mod of z is equal to 2, z can take two possible values. One can be +2, the other can be -2. And do I have +2 and minus? Let me clear all the answers from the yes no poll. Do I have +2 and -2 as the possible values of z from the question statement? From the question statement, please remember that, where we were given that mod of z is less than 6. So we had all those numbers from -5 to +5. We have, right? So since I have both the values of +2 and -2 in my question statement as well as the solution, the statement 2, then I can say that, since I'm getting two different answers on z being positive or negative, the second statement is not a sufficient statement to answer this question. Right? Since the second statement is not sufficient, the first is. The correct answer for this question is choice A. With this, I hope the question is clear to all of you. So let me bring in the poll for the next question, where you know the drill. I'll reopen the poll, clear all the answers. Please mark are still solving over here. Let's move ahead with the next set of questions. The next question is a very interesting question on data sufficiency. Okay, I have this point from Satya. But Z can't be 6. Yes, Z cannot be 6. It can be 5. But since I do not have that in my range, I cannot reach to the answer. Right? Okay, I have 52 people over here. Let me stop broadcasting the results. Let's move ahead to question number 7 here on your screen. All right, another 5 seconds for this question, guys. Let's take 5 more seconds, not more than that. Put down your answers, and then let's discuss the solution for this one. 3, 2, and 1. Let me end the poll, broadcast the results. Now, 22% of you tell me that the answer for this question is choice A, 25% of you tell me it's choice B, 24 tell me it's D, 12 tell me it's C, 8% tell me it's choice E. All right. Now, let's look at the question. The question asks me a very easy question to interpret. It just asks me whether A is less than B or not. Then I have two different statements with me. Now, the first statement, mod of something is equal to uh, something. So let's, before moving into the analysis of the first statement, let me ask you this. If I tell you mod of x is equal to y, and I'm opening the short answer poll, can you tell me what is y? What kind of a number is y? If I tell you mod of x is equal to y, what kind of a number is y? Is it positive or is it non-negative? Again, positive or non-negative? What is a better way to say what y is? It's a non-negative number, right? Again, it's a non-negative number. It's not a positive number, because when x is equal to 0, y would be equal to 0, and y is 0, which is a non-negative number, right? So it's a non-negative number. It's not positive. Please understand the difference between a number being positive and non-negative. Where there is a case where we include 0, there is another case where we do not include 0, and that might break or make a lot of questions for you. So please be sure about this. So you people tell me that y is a non-negative number. Let's take the same thing forward and analyze the first statement. Let me end the poll, clear all the answers. The first statement tells me that mod of a minus b is equal to b minus a. You people told me that mod of any number is equal to b minus a is a non-negative number. If it's a non-negative number, that means b minus a is either equal to 0 or greater than 0. If you take a to the right hand side of this equation, inequality, you get the value of a to be greater than you get the value of b to be greater than equal to a. So there are two possible cases. Either a is equal to b or a is less than b. So can I answer whether a is less than b or not? No, I cannot. Because there are two possible cases. Either a is equal to b or a is less than b. So the first statement is not a sufficient statement to answer this question. Let's move ahead to the second statement's analysis. The second statement tells me that a by b is less than 1. So a by b is less than 1. What can I say about this number? If I have a by b and if I say that this is less than 1, if I multiply b to both the sides of this inequality, if I just multiply b to both the sides of this inequality, what do I have? I have a by b times b is less than 1 times b, right? This is what I have. So a by b times b, gets cancelled. I have a in the left hand side is less than b. But what about b being positive or negative? So if b is a positive number, then a is less than b. The sign of the inequality won't change. But if b is a negative number, the sign of the inequality would change. Now a is not less than b, a would become greater than b, right? So upon considering both the cases, depending upon b, I would have two cases. If b is positive, a is less than b. If b is negative, a is greater than b. Since I have again two statements from here, can I answer a less than b or not? No, because I have both the cases possible. So from the second statement as well, I cannot answer the question. Thus, post this, what I need to do, I need to combine both the statements and see if I can get to the right answer or not. When I combine both the statements, what did I get from the first statement? From the first statement, I got a is either equal to b or less than b. From the second statement's analysis, I got a can be less than b, a can be greater than b. When you combine both the statements, which is that common region? The common region is marked in yellow, where we have a less than b in both the analysis of the statements. So since we can answer whether a is less than b or not, the combination of two statements are sufficient to answer this question, which makes choice C the correct answer for this question. Right? So a very important thing is when you analyze the first and the second statement. The first statement is very simple thing. If mod of x is equal to y, y has to be a non-negative number, right? It can either be equal to 0 or positive. When a by b is less than 1, multiply b, get this inequality. Then with respect to the value of b, since I multiplied b, if b is positive, the inequality holds. If b is negative, then the sign of inequality would change, something that we had learned in the previous set of questions, right? And then combining both, a is equal to b, a is less than b, a is less than b, greater than b, which is the common region, the region where A is less than B, present in both the analysis of the statements. So that's the answer. And hence the answer for this question is choice C. I hope with this, it's clear to all of you around this question. Can you please mark a yes if the solution is clear to all of you? Just let me take the poll over here. All right, that's perfect. So let me end the poll and let me clear all the answers. Now, how many of you, and let me again reopen the poll over here. How many of you think that to ace GMAT quant, you have to be a math whiz? Please mark with a yes or a no. How many of you think that to ace GMAT quant, you have to be a math whiz? Okay, very different answers. So 45%, let me end the poll. 43% of you tell me that yes, you need to be a master of math to ace GMAT quant. 57% of you tell me no, you don't have to be um, here. You don't have to be a math whiz to ace GMAT quant. Now, so just one moment, please.